Obviously, you're here because you have an interest in knowing more about Agile project management. But do you really know what it is? What exactly is Agile project management? In order to best define Agile project management, we should first define what traditional project management is all about. Traditional project management, also known as waterfall project management, involves where we put together a comprehensive plan based on our knowledge and feelings of today in the hopes that nothing will change between now and the finished product 6, 8, or 12 months from now. In other words, traditional project management is where we do all the work and deliver at the very end of our project and hope that we meet the expectations of our customers. However, the challenge with the waterfall approach is that oftentimes at the very beginning of our project, there are a lot of unknowns that can make it a challenge to stick to the plan and even be sure you deliver the desired product. The Agile approach to project management, on the other hand, is where you do the work in small, incremental pieces, deliver what you have to get immediate feedback. Born from the software development industry, Agile project management is a method of managing your project in small, incremental segments that can be easily assigned, easily managed, and completed within a short period of time. By the way, just to get you technical for a minute, the short period of time is what Agile project managers call a sprint. In other words, you're not waiting until the very end of your project to deliver it to your boss or to your customer. You are breaking up your project into smaller segments that can be delivered as an element of the finished product. The best way I like to describe the Agile approach is that it focuses on incremental delivery of your work so that you can get early feedback from your stakeholders and immediately add value to the organization. In a nutshell, Agile incorporates customers' feedback for continuous improvement, breaks down your work into small chunks by completing your task into short cycles, in other words, sprints, promotes teams to focus on one project at a time, allows teams to experiment and learn continuously, and ensures transparency of the work to encourage better collaboration among the team and the customer. With that definition, who doesn't want to implement Agile today? In your participant resource guide, there's an opportunity to go back and look at the definition of Agile project management. And what I would suggest is that you circle the words in the definition of Agile project management that resonates with you the most. So what do you think about Agile project management thus far? At this point, I hope you are already excited about the benefits it can bring to your project work. I have to admit, when I first learned about Agile, it seemed very technical, and of course, knowing that it came from the software development industry, I didn't think it had anything to do with my particular projects. But when I researched and learned about the benefits, I realized that Agile had the potential to ensure that I meet my customers' expectations, that I get things done much more quickly, deliver what they wanted in a much faster time to their satisfaction, and immediately add value to my customers. Take a moment to reflect within your participant resource guide how you feel right now about your comfort level with Agile project management. Wherever you are, it is my goal to make sure that your comfort level is at a place where you can take the concepts and principles and adapt it to your work. There are 3 key elements of Agile that you can implement today to deliver your work faster and add value to the organization. Those 3 elements are to plan, deliver, learn. That's it. Let's dive into each one of these components in more detail in the next set of lectures. Despite common myth, planning does occur when you implement Agile. Now, you're probably not creating a complex schedule, but you at least need to map out what you plan to incrementally deliver. At the very least, we need to plan the vision and come up with a roadmap. We still need an idea as to when we want to see some kind of result. Unlike our traditional waterfall projects where we plan once and then work the plan, Agile planning happens continuously. You plan what you're going to accomplish in a certain time frame, deliver, learn from the feedback, then replan. Planning includes determining high-level time frames, defining the deliverables at least incrementally, and estimating the effort and time in your schedule to get the work done. And planning even occurs within your sprints. Plan and clearly define what you're going to accomplish in this time frame. Focus on only that goal within that time frame. Plan when you will deliver to stakeholders for review and feedback. Most importantly, developing a plan for each sprint helps you prioritize your work and focus on only the tasks that need to be completed during the specified time frame. If changes need to be made to your work, you can address those changes during your next sprint. Here's a technique tip. Take a look at the sample roadmap within your participant resource guide. The roadmap can simply be a whiteboard with sticky notes, and you have the flexibility to move around the sticky notes as changes will likely occur in your project. Here's a real-world application. Let's say you work at your family-owned winery. I like wine. Your company has decided to improve the distribution process of your wine. Rather than set a hard and fast deadline, leadership, your father, has tasked you with thinking outside of the box to look at ways to incrementally improve the process with one of your wine retailers. They seem to be the bottleneck in reporting back to us on their wine needs. So you develop a roadmap plan like this. This is an example of a now, next, later product roadmap. I like this because of its simplicity, and most folks can understand the visual as they can see what we're working on now. They can see what's next in terms of what is coming up soon, and the work to be done in the later part is further out in time. For our winery project, usually this type of initiative takes over 18 months to pull together a full report with recommendations. However, since you have been authorized to incrementally deliver results every 4 weeks, you have the opportunity to achieve some quick wins for the company. A key element of Agile is that you deliver small increments of the finished product to get feedback and hopefully excitement from your customer because they have something in hand that they can use right away. The benefit to that is that you can obtain immediate feedback, and feedback ensures that you are on the right track. Feedback also allows you to make a course correction early rather than later in the project. I mean, who wants to do all the work only to find out that's not what your customer wanted? Stay with me into the next couple of lectures as I discuss 2 technique tips that are very useful in helping you deliver your work. In the midst of delivering small increments of your work, Agile encourages that you do check-ins along the way. One popular type of check-in is to hold a 15-minute daily stand-up meeting. During this meeting, the focus is to keep it to 15 minutes, tops. So in this meeting, I discuss 3 key points. Point 1, I completed the following items since we last met. Point 2, I will be working on the following items during this time frame. And point 3, here are some of my challenges or impediments that I'm facing to complete the work. And it's fine to indicate that there are no impediments at this time. You'll notice that it's called a stand-up meeting. Yep, that's right. You are standing up. The purpose behind this is that if you remain standing on your feet, it has the potential to reduce rambling and keeps you focused. And no one wants to stand more than 15 minutes. Delivery is all about ensuring you are focused on what was prioritized during that time frame, and even still making sure you are doing check-ins to deliver value and meet expectations. Real-world application. Back to our winery. We see an opportunity to improve our distribution process by adding a QR code to our label. Customers simply indicate where they received our wine so that our distribution system takes note and we don't have to wait on the wine seller to get back to us. Plus, customers are incentivized to use the QR code as they have the option to receive a coupon on the wine at their next purchase. As a team, we brainstorm the idea and look at the pros and cons. And every day we meet for our 15-minute daily stand-up to tackle the 3 key questions. What did you complete since we last met? What will you be working on this week? And are you dealing with any challenges to complete the work? In our winery scenario, leadership loves the idea, by the way, and they can't wait to hear the results in the next 4 weeks. A 15-minute stand-up meeting with your boss is probably one of the easiest practices you can implement as you move forward in the Agile approach to your projects. Ideally, if you can set this meeting up on a consistent day and time, it makes for better implementation. The best way to implement this technique is to introduce the idea and educate the concept to your boss. If they don't understand the value of the 15-minute stand-up meeting, then the meeting could easily get derailed into an hour-long discussion. Indicate to your manager, hey, I just learned about a status meeting update technique where it saves time and allows me to provide a quick update to you about the progress of my project. It's something I'd like to try with you if you're amenable to it. It's called the 15-minute stand-up meeting. We're both standing up and we take 15 minutes and I will provide 3 bullet points to you. This is a way for us to make sure we're on the same page and also gives you the opportunity to find out where I am and offer any suggestions or make some mid-changes to the project. I'll be providing the following information: my accomplishments since we last met, what I'll be working on until our next meeting, what is getting in the way or keeping me from working on the project. Give it a try. Introduce the 15-minute stand-up idea first, then implement it. My recommendation is to set up the 15-minute stand-up for twice a week, perhaps a Monday and a Thursday, and determine if you need to increase the frequency or scale it back to meeting up only once a week. It's a super easy strategy to help you stay focused, keep your boss informed, and to be prepared for any changes to the project. Let me know in the reflection section of this course as to how the technique works for you. Another very important aspect about Agile is to make your work visible. One tool in particular that helps you visualize your work is through the use of a Kanban board. A Kanban board is a visual tool to manage the flow of your project to-dos. It allows you to see, in a glance, what stage your project is in. Each to-do is listed on the board and is moved to the corresponding action section of the board as it's worked on. Take, for instance, our wine distribution project. Our Kanban board includes the updated design of the label with the QR code, talking with the wine retailer to make sure they're on board, coordinating with your sales team for the coupon, and conducting some market research about consumer behavior and use of the QR codes. The Kanban method is my preferred implementation of Agile because of the simplicity of being able to start where you are. You can implement the use of Kanban without making changes to your current workflow. I personally prefer a low-tech use of the Kanban board, where I use a whiteboard and sticky notes. More high-tech virtual Kanban boards include tools like Trello, Asana, ClickUp, and Jira, to name a few. Real-world application, back to our winery. As a team, we decided to go low-tech and use the wall of our conference rooms, and we have stickies all over the wall. The sticky notes allows us to better prioritize our tasks and keep things visual so we have an understanding of what is going on, reducing the need for catch-up meetings, which also helps with our workflow. The Kanban board, coupled with the 15-minute daily stand-ups, also improved our collaboration as a team. What I appreciate about Agile is that the short turnaround times and frequent deliveries on specific elements of the work allows me to reap the benefits of learning from feedback. If my stakeholders, i.e. my boss, team members, customers, take issue with a certain aspect of the work, I have a chance to learn and make corrections accordingly for the next sprint. With Agile, there are opportunities to improve your work and adapt. Often at the end of traditional projects, when we did all of the work, we find out that there was a mistake. The value of Agile is that with the quick sprints, you get feedback quickly and find out if you need to make changes early. This is probably something that's happened to many of you. You did all that work, and you did all that work in isolation without having periodic check-ins with your boss. And then at the end of the project, when you present all your hard efforts and all of that work, only for your boss to say, "That's not quite what I was looking for." Ugh, what a gut punch. The alternative with Agile is that by showing your efforts in between, you get a failure point early in your project. In this case, it's possible to get a "that's not quite what I was looking for" at week 1, where there's time to make a course correction rather than having to wait to hear that disappointing news at week 36. Here's a technique tip. At the end of your sprint, conduct a retrospective meeting. Retrospective meetings are a way to gain insight about what worked well and the areas that you can improve upon in your work. My favorite retrospective exercise is to do a 4Ls assessment: liked, learned, lacked, longed for. Meaning, what did I like about this sprint? i.e., did I like working on the project in small increments? What did I learn during this sprint? A new skill, a way to better communicate to my boss? What was lacking? Meaning, what were the things I observed that could have been done better? More direct feedback from my manager. And what did I long for during this sprint? A quieter office space to concentrate on my work might be an example. Retrospectives are intended for project teams to determine better ways to work, but I've also put this retrospective into practice when it was just me as the lone team player on an Agile project. Refer to your participant resource guide for a 4Ls retrospective template, real-world application. So I bet you're wondering the end result of the wine distribution improvement project. By week 2, the conversations with the wine retailer did not go so well. They did not like losing control of their efforts to keep records of the wine inventory. However, they did suggest that the QR code could be a good idea for social media marketing for both the retailer and the winery. As such, the group disbanded the idea but regrouped to address the use of QR codes for social media marketing. And the retrospective meeting they held revealed the benefits of working in an Agile environment and brainstormed ideas to better improve their work in the 4-week sprint. Think this idea of a winery using Agile is far-fetched? Check out the Agile Innovation article written by Bain & Company in the resource section. You'll see how a winery adapted to Agile with great results. If you're like me, you may find it challenging to succinctly explain what Agile project management is all about. Now add that to the stress of explaining the concept to your boss. But it doesn't have to be a difficult conversation. You can simply say to your boss, "Hey boss, I'm looking to be more efficient and get real-time feedback from you as to the progress of this project. My idea is to deliver aspects of my work in small increments and provide a draft or a prototype of my work for you to react to. As such, I'd like to set up quick 15-minute meetings with you to review my progress." Notice how I didn't get fancy and even mention Agile. I just laid out a roadmap as to my approach in getting the work done. When the time comes, your boss will probably, 1, be so impressed with your level of efficiency, and 2, he or she will ask about how you came up with the idea in managing your work. At this point, now you can fully explain the organization and delivery of my work is based on the Agile approach to project management, meaning I do the work in small, incremental pieces, deliver what I have to get immediate feedback from you. This explanation, coupled with the successes of your project, will make it easier for you to get buy-in from management to continue doing great work using the Agile methodology. And what about if you have to work in teams? Certainly, you need commitment from the entire team to make Agile a success. In stating the business case to your team, consider bringing in relevant pain points and relating it back to the benefits of Agile. I like to use the "you know how we" format. For instance, you know how we often get frustrated when we find out about changes near the end of the project? Well, by taking a more agile approach, we're able to find out about changes and adapt early on. Or, you know how it seems like our job is being a mind reader of what the customer wants? Well, if we do the work in small chunks and deliver that finished product to our stakeholders, we're able to get feedback early to see if we're on the right track. Or, you know how we always seem to find out too late what the other team members are working on? I heard of this technique called daily huddles or daily stand-ups, where we spend no more than 15 minutes discussing the tasks we completed, the tasks we're working on now, and sharing if we are facing any impediments in our work. Here's a technique tip. At some point, you should bring in an Agile coach if your organization is committed to implementing Agile on a consistent basis. An Agile coach or mentor is an outside person who shares their experience with the team and provides feedback on ways to improve Agile implementation. The Agile coach can also provide foundational training on Agile concepts and techniques. The Agile methodology has so many benefits for your projects. In particular, if you've been assigned a project where your manager says, "I'm not sure what I want, but when I see something, I'll let you know if I like it," then that's where the Agile approach may best benefit you. In this type of project request, the direction of your work and your end products are subject to change a lot. With Agile, you produce your work in small deliveries and get management feedback along the way. This approach allows you to make mid-course corrections without having to scrap everything and start all over. Here are some quick tips to help you determine if the Agile approach is right for your project. If your project is unique where the end product, the work, or the timeline cannot be defined in advance. If your manager is flexible around producing the work in small increments. If you need frequent input from your manager or other stakeholders. Or if you need the ability to quickly react to changes. If your project meets just about all of these elements, then taking the Agile approach to your project may be a good fit. As a recap, here are 5 hacks you can implement today to make your project more agile. Number 1, create a now, next, later roadmap plan for all the items you want to accomplish in your project. Number 2, work in sprints and set up goals for each sprint so that you can stay focused. Sprints typically are 2 to 4 weeks. Too short of a sprint may not give you enough time to accomplish your goals. Too long of a sprint may lead you to multitask and not focus on the task at hand. Number 3, deliver your work in small segments at the end of your sprint. 4, hold quick check-in meetings in the form of 15-minute daily huddles, answering the key questions of, what did you complete since we last met? What will you be working on this week? And are you dealing with any challenges to complete the work? And number 5, make your work visible with the use of a Kanban board. There's a debate about the appropriateness of when to use and not to use Agile. The first step is to have the right mindset. That includes you as the champion and having leadership support. The right mindset is the biggest hurdle. While some will argue that there needs to be perfect conditions of training and coaching involved to fully implement Agile, from my point of view, the techniques of Agile can be beneficial even if you only do a little bit. If your goal is to improve collaboration among your teams, better handle changes, and find the best ways to serve the customer and improve the delivery of your products, then the Agile approach may be a fit for your organization. However, if the goal of using Agile is to use the latest trend, sound modern and cool, and the use of Agile techniques is actually burdensome, then Agile may not be appropriate for your project. Agile can provide significant benefits to your organization if you have the right mindset. Now that you know a lot more about Agile, it's time to create an Agile plan for yourself. I want you to use the provided resource that's located in the participant resource guide for this course and indicate 3 elements of Agile you plan to integrate into your next project. Feel free to share your thoughts in the Q&A section, as you may get some great feedback from other course participants. In turn, feel free to share your assessment and send it back to me for review and comment. I would be delighted to give you my feedback. Now time for a quick self-assessment. How agile are you? What do you think? On the scale provided on the worksheet in the resource section of this course, go ahead and place a dot as to where you think your comfort level is with regards to Agile. As always, feel free to share your thoughts in the discussion section of this course, as you may find that there are other peers in this course who feel exactly the same way you do. Well, this course was designed to provide you exposure to the key techniques and tips of Agile that you can implement right away. In no way was this course meant to prepare you to sit for an exam or to give you a deep review of everything that there is to the Agile approach in managing your projects. In fact, the requirements to sit for certain exams for credentials such as the Certified Scrum Master, Certified Scrum Product Owner, or Project Management Institute's Agile Certified Practitioner typically means you have attended some formal education and/or you have some level of experience working on Agile projects. If you are interested in doing a deeper dive into Agile methodologies, I provided resources in your participant resource guide to include some helpful terms, books to add to your library, and more information on the credentials if you are looking to be a certified Agile practitioner. Congrats! You've made it to the end. If you've made it all the way up to this point, I commend you for your determination and commitment to getting the most out of this journey and increasing your knowledge of the Agile methodology. This course will continue to be available to you for future reference, and you can always connect with me either via email or on the major social media platforms. Be sure to provide a review, as it will help me improve the course. I will keep updating the course based on student feedback. Thank you so much for watching.